Okay, and I think we'll cut back to Dr. Desmond Pierce.
This can't be happening. This can't be happening right now, man. And I'm just running.
You're running down the park, and everyone you pass, a businessman, an old nun. Who could it be? Who could be the next victim of this horrible plague?
This has to be a figment of my imagination. There's no way this can't be real.
The only thing you can seem to think of is back to that ruffian, that McFadden.
I don't know anyone in these parts. I can't believe I have to. What direction was he going? It was that way, wasn't it? I ran back the way that I last saw him heading.
Okay.
Emmett, that is, McFadden.
Now, McFadden, you shove the sculpture into the eye socket of Mickey, and it just erupts in a fountain of worms. And the worms... Can you give me a power roll?
Critical.
Okay.
4 to 60.
Can you also give me a sanity roll?
Critical. An 8 to a 40.
Okay. Now, can you describe to me what this statue looks like?
Disturbing features. Where should have been head is a patterned mass of slithering tentacles.
You thrust the statue into the eye, and you feel some sort of surge of energy come over you. And you're sure it's emanating from this statue. The worms recoil from the statue, which is sort of pierced it, and they sort of start to flow out even more violently, and they all spread out. Every single one of Mickey's paws opens up, and worms arise out of it. But there's something about this statue. The worms can't seem to form into a mass, and they drop off the body and fall onto the ground in a mess on the floor. And then they sort of evaporate as they did in the hotel room. Now, Daddy stands up in his big suit.
What the hell was that?
That's what I've been trying to tell you about, Big Daddy. It's something about this book, I'm telling you. Something about... It's connected to a statue of some sort.
Big Daddy pulls out a large magnum and aims it at your head. Get out of here, and get out of here and never come back.
Daddy, mate, please, listen to me.
And he fires a warning shot, which flies past your head and hits the wall.
I leave without saying a word.
You get out onto the street, looking around, clutching the statue. And you realize you must leave your old life behind. And just as you're sort of walking down the street, looking over your shoulder, looking right and left,
Where were you? I've just ran past at least 10, 15 people, and they're all just coughing out worms. And I saw this homeless man, and I was about to ask him where this guy with the black tent, where he was, but before I could even utter a word, he just started coughing out worms.
A man walks up to you in quite a nice suit. He says, excuse me, I'm sorry to do this. It's just typical tourist things, but can you point me the way to Central Park? Oh dear, sorry, something just came over. Yes, can you point me the way to Central Park?
All right, just the way I came, just straight ahead and take a right.
Run away!
All right, well,
Let's get the fuck out of here, man. I can't deal with this no more. Let's go.
what's that thing you're holding in your hand? What's that?
What? Oh, this thing? I just found it in some cunt's house.
But look, but that looks like something drawn in Professor Peasley's diary. What exactly? Where did you get that?
This is no time to be talking about this, mate. Let's get out of here first. Interact with no one. Anyone comes to us and talks, we don't say a fucking word. You understand? Look, I have this nice little fucking... I know this place, this cave. Trust me. Let's go. I know. It's just near northeast of town.
All right,
let's go now.
I'm done. I'm done questioning. Let's get out of here. I don't want to be in this sickening town for 1 second longer.
Okay, you run. You run down the streets. People look at you with wide eyes as you look quite panicked. Where are you running to?
I'm gonna run northeast. It's New York, about 7 streets with a couple left and right turns to where we were before. There's a small darkish alleyway that's filled with homeless people. And you keep going further down, and then eventually there's this small abandoned attic, like a cellar door for a bar that used to be there before Prohibition shut it down.
What is this bar called? The Cave?
I don't know what it used to be called. Lucky showed it to me.
Yeah, well, you go down and you open a little hatch, go down. The hobos are still sleeping, and
There are no hobos in here.
Actually, that's a good question. Can both of you guys give me a luck roll?
That's definitely where a hobo would be. Fucking
Success.
oh, success 15 to 28.
Yeah, you're the only ones in this little cave. And you can see why he calls it the cave, because it used to be a bar, but there was a horrendous fire in here. Everything was burnt out. The floors, the walls, and all that's left is a sort of cave.
And a cabin of whiskey.
Yeah. Well, you could give me another luck roll if you want a bit of whiskey.
Fail.
No whiskey.
It was that fucking... I know the fucker that did it. He's got the beard and the beanie, the bastard.
Look, we need to talk. This statue, and I flip through my book and I show him a picture from Peasley's that looks similar
can
to
you
this.
give me a cult roll?
Both of us are just sprint.
Success.
As you inspect the statue closer, it doesn't look like anything from the diaries, although you can tell that it is... I mean, if you had any sort of Cthulhu mythos knowledge, then you would be able to detect that it is
Maybe
mythical, shall we say.
where did you get that statue from? My impulses are just tingling. It's this whole entire... the air vectors in this entire room.
You remember, McFadden, that the
Pulsing
statue seemed to dissuade the worm creature. You sit in the darkness of this cave. You've managed to find a small candle, just a small flickering of light. And Dr. Desmond Pierce, you feel a weight in your suitcase. The book. It got you into this mess. The book, that picture of the worms, but you couldn't decipher it. What if you could find out what's actually going on. What if the book has the answer? But are you too afraid to open it?
Well, from what I can tell, opening and actually reading the book hasn't actually caused any harm, and I haven't uttered a word that was written because I can't understand a word. This is no Latin. This is definitely some sort of other archaic language. But what do you say if I tried one more time to see if I can find anything?
But I'm telling you, this statue, it's got something to do with it. I shoved it into the fucking skull of that cunt Mickey. It was filled with those worms.
What?
Like some sort of can of beans filled with them. And I shoved it into his skull so deep that I saw his brains, but it made them writhe. They hated it. It's got something to do with it, I'm telling you. Look, you've got the book. I've got the statue.
Well,
open it.
Well, yeah.
Maybe we can figure it out. Maybe we can
maybe
end this.
There is something in this book got to do with this statue. Maybe there is a description or a diagram.
You huddle over the candlelight. Now, as you study the book, Dr. Pierce, and you, Mr. McFadden, study the statue, can each of you please add 3 to your Cthulhu Mythos skill?
Oh, yeah. Well, it never comes without sacrifice.
Can you give me an education roll, please, Desmond? 99.
99 versus 70. Biggest fail.
Okay. You think it's a cipher, and you think it will take you a long while to decode it, but you think you probably can. The only issue is, if you go outside again, if you open up that hatch and go out onto the street, I mean, you don't know what awaits. So, you could decode this book, but you're also running low on supplies.
Can I try an education roll?
Give me an occult roll. Or a mythos roll. You can do both, actually.
Fail on occult.
Mm-hmm.
Fail on mythos.
Okay.
I could decipher this. There's a lot written about it.
Perhaps you don't need to decipher the whole book. Perhaps only that one page. That page with the little worm in the margins.
All right, you're gonna have to give me that candle, and I'm gonna have to use my journal from Peasley, and I feel like I can do it. There is broken up Latin in here. I know it, in an archaic form, but the way it's written, it follows the same contingency. Just give me a little bit.
Desmond, you look up and see that McFadden is totally enthralled by the sculpture. He's sort of stroking it, and it seems that he hasn't heard a word you've said. He just seems engulfed in the terrifying beauty of this esoteric artifact.
I walk up behind him and put my hand on his shoulder.
Hey!
Did you hear anything I just said?
Huh? Who? What? Bugger off, mate. Bugger off.
Hey, I'm gonna decipher this book here. It's gonna take me some time. It's some ancient. It's Latin, but it's an archaic form of Latin. But
alright, yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
You do that, mate. You do that. Yeah, go on. You can do
try
that.
Try not.
Mate.
I can see your obsessive eyes.
What? Obsessive is it now?
Yes, I can see your eyes on
I'm
that
obsessed
thing.
with this thing, mate. You're obsessed with that book now. Fuck, leave me alone, man. I've been through too much. Go away. Go away now.
Okay, can you give me... let's do 3 education rolls. 100. Now, another sort of... Well, I suppose we should have explained this earlier, but we are rolling 2 10-sided dice. One with 10s, 10, 20, 30, 40, and one with 1s, 0, 1, 2, 3. We roll both of them at the same time, so it's a percentile number, and we're trying to roll low. Brent has a education of
70.
70, so he's trying to roll below a 70. He's just rolled a 100, which is considered a fumble, but so normally something disastrous would happen, but as he's just reading a book, it doesn't really have much effect. And he just rolled
A 99 versus 70.
Going down one by one.
And a 40.
So
40
you,
versus 70.
okay, so you pass one of the rolls.
Yep.
Okay, you managed to break the cipher or the encryption, but it is quite complex, and you don't think you've fully got it down. It's looking like it's going to take you days to decipher just this one page, but you're sure the answer lies in the book. Now, McFadden, staring into the statue, you close your eyes, but you can still see. Even though your eyes are shut, you can still see this statue in your vision. And it appears to grow and take up your whole field of view until you stand before it and embrace it. Its terrifying magnificence. You guys are running on the last shreds of sanity. After a long, long time, Desmond, you look up and you see that McFadden has been frozen, clutching the statue up to his face. He's basically squished up against his nose. It looks like he's been doing that for... Oh, you don't know how long. You don't know how long you've been down here. You're starting to get hungry, but you're cracking away at this coded tome. McFadden, can you give me a sanity roll?
Fail.
Well, that's that.
51 to 40.
Still enthralled. More time goes by. Once again, you don't know how long, but
I got it. I got it. Just a little longer. Just a little longer. That symbol carry it over here. Carry it over here. What's this over here? What's this over here? That hooves and tentacle creature.
after what seems like days, your stomach is, well, it was painful at first, but now it seems a distant memory. Doesn't seem to bother you anymore. You've completely forgotten about McFadden, who just sits there, the sculpture clutched to his face, whimpering every now and then going quiet for long periods. And then
It's just a little longer here. I can decipher it.
after eons in this madness, finally, you think you have it.
I've got it. I finally found it. I just taken everything. I just taken every mental drop. Everything. I've got it. I've got the answers. It's encrypted into my brain. It's burned in there, man.
He doesn't seem to respond.
And I fire my sawed-off shotgun in the air right next to his head, and I blast.
It's coming back for us. It's coming back. It's alright. It's gone into our safe little attic, and now it's never going to leave us ever again. Oh, it's only in the statue. It's only in the statue. Only in the statue.
I pause for a second as he finishes his incessant rambling.
The statue.
And I let go of the trigger and I fire 2 shells at the tile, the roof. Floorboards just break and dust starts to fall down.
McFadden doesn't even
Around.
seem to stir. He's just still totally focused on this statue.
Tentacles, worms, and fate. Tentacles, worms, and fate.
And
fate.
and you can hear the mutterings of your
Tentacles, worms.
companion. And you look more closely at this strange statue.
Tentacles, worms. And fate.
Perhaps it's because you're so sleep deprived, but perhaps it's because you're losing your mind. The statue seems to be
Tentacles, worms, and tentacles.
shifting,
Fate.
moving.
Tentacles, worms.
It seems to be some sort of almost like an arachnid, almost like a centipede with many legs. But then you look again and no, it's just that figure. But you can't quite get a hold on it.
My rational mind thinks that I'm sleep deprived and my mind must be playing tricks on me. McFadden, are you there?
Worms and tentacles and fate.
Looks like that my practice will finally. I need to delve deeper into his mind.
And I pull out my analytical notebook and I see him there.
He seems to be in a petrified state. His motor function doesn't seem to be working at all. It seems that his prefrontal motor gyrus. There must be something blocking some of the neurons from working. McFadden. It seems that McFadden, can you hear me?
He seems utterly obsessed with this horrific sculpture.
McFadden.
I put my finger up and
Do you smell that? You smell that? Seems that his olfactory part of his brain seems to be not functioning properly either. McFadden! Definitely his occipital lobe is affected. This statue must be the answer.
and I start to sort of I move the statue and I move my arms over these tentacle things and
Okay,
I look
I
into
see.
his eyes and see what sort of effect.
You don't touch me, statue, man. Don't touch it, man. Don't do it. Come on. Don't do it, man. Come on, we're mates. You don't do things like that to your mates. Come on, man. Don't do it.
You seem to have roused him back to reality.
Don't do it, man.
It seems like
Don't do it, man.
you have the yin and the yang, but the dark side of the sublime, manifested in these tentacles, seems to be enthralling him. And I stroke across these pores of the entity
You-
to see his effect on his conscious.
Don't touch. Don't touch it, man.
You noticed that his knuckles are white. There's actually blood sort of pouring off from his palms down the statue. He's been gripping it so tightly for so many hours and it's just been pressed towards him. But you seem to be getting through to him. Perhaps if you took the statue away.
McFadden, I haven't known you very long at all, but my short time.
You don't know me. You don't know me, friend. Don't even pretend to.
I don't pretend that I know you, but
for my short time being with you, I know a lot about your personality and your characteristics, and I know that you're a man of conscientiousness. You have duty. You work thoroughly, and you work hard. You know, you might not have a noble cause, but I don't see that in front of your future. I see that as part of your developmental problem. You didn't have the upbringing that you needed to succeed in life, and I think that you can see through this fakeness and this darkness and come climbing out of the abyss and see the light. Now, look at this.
There ain't no light, man. There ain't no light. You used to
Look
believe
at
in
this.
God. Nah, it's a lie.
You got,
life is only
man, you
tentacles,
gotta
worms,
look at
and
this
vein.
statue and see it in the true light that it is.
Worms and vein. It's only tentacles, worms and vein.
You gotta, and as I do, I look up and I see. Maybe I have to see a luck roll, but is there a sky vent or something like that?
No sky vents, just a little hole that you blew in the roof. There's a little bit of light coming down. Seems to be day.
A little bit of light trickling through.
Yes.
As I do, I reload my shotgun slowly. And as I do, I rip the statue out of his hands and I fire my shotgun at this light.
No, you can't have it.
And
You can't have it. You don't know about it. No, you don't know about it like I do.
And I shoot it up at the light, and then at the little glimpse through, and I blow a bigger hole where this light is trickling through the sunlight, and to sort of have that beam come down on.
Trickle of gloomy light.
Oh, but you never know. The people, the worms of the people, they might come through. Oh, you
Now,
don't know.
McFadden, can you give me a sanity roll now that the statue has been taken away?
Critical 6 to 14.
Okay. Part of you feels that you would rather part with your right hand than with the statue, but now that it's been taken away from you, your consciousness and your, well, McFadden comes back into this realm.
McFadden,
Heavy breathing.
I knew it was always a trait of you, high trait. Conscientiousness. You're a hard-working man. You cannot let this end like this. You gotta stand up. What was our original goal? What were we originally gonna do? We're gonna fight. We're gonna find out. We were put into this dark pit, and we have to climb out of it now. There's no point being into denial about this. Staring at the statue's not gonna help us any further. I know what I need to do now. I've studied this book for... I don't even know what day it is and time, month. It's been eons. Time is irrelevant. But I know it's gonna take a lot of blood. It's gonna take every drop of mental strength out of me, and I need you by my side, otherwise I think I'm going to fail.
Alright, friend. Alright. I'm gonna grab the doctor's hand, grab his wrist, rise up. Alright, friend. Let's do it.
Can I do a psychoanalysis roll? Success in the psychoanalysis roll, 45 to 70. It seems that his overwhelming obsession with the disgusting pulpous and tentacloid statue had left his occipital lobe and his temporal lobe and his motor gyrus function completely, it was in complete stasis. There was no neural activity, no electricity running through his neurons, resulting in complete obsessive state of his conscious, basically, which led him to see this image continuously, and he fell into a dark pit where he could not process any psychological thought outside of the statue and the darkness that it brought. But thanks to his high conscientiousness, his sense of duty, and his hardworking nature, he only needed to be reminded that these traits are part of him, and this is what has strived him and got him this far in life, and this is what has brought him to the man that he was. And his lack of agreeableness, his lack of warmth and friendliness, except for those that he truly cares about, those are true markers of success, and we have done the studies. And it brings you out of a state of depression, and it leads to a healthy mind. And you only needed to be reminded of the oaths that we had taken. Well, not the oaths, but we knew that we could not go to the life that we led before. And we must carry this burden now. We've both delved for days at end. And he only needed to be reminded of these traits to bring him back. Because these are parts of his integral self. They're fundamental and metaphysical. These can never be taken away. Even if you're insane, these are always part of the human condition. And these are not placid, because the brain is not completely placid. And he can always rely on that to make the right decision.
Dr. Desmond writing notes and smiling, actually, for the first time. He looks at you, and he looks at you differently, almost like you're not a nuisance anymore, like you're, dare I say it,
You are like what Jung would say, the archetype of a hero. Maybe.
And with that, Dr. Desmond turns around and begins his preparations.
The smile leaves my face immediately. So I put my notebook away. And I kneel down and I say, "Hey, we need to build some kind of altar. Anything. Right now."
What? What?
An altar. An elevated plateau.
What? An altar?
A plateau. It's like a interdimensional link. Something like that. You know?
Why?
Something to formulate, or to form some sort of avatar of the plateau of a link. Something like that. I know you don't know what I'm understanding, but we need to get the material ahead of us. We have wood. We have something. We have to build some kind of altar.
Sorry,
I can't explain.
I'm not building anything
And as I
until
do-
you explain it. An altar?
I start making like a teepee, but in the center of the room.
All the while you're sort of looking at the book and looking at your notes, and yes. This goes here.
This goes here. This goes here. And at the top of it, I elevate the planks kind of so that they're sticking out in sort of triangular geometric patterns. I need a knife.
No, I got a knife.
I grab the knife and I stab it into my veins.
Hey, what are you doing?
All right. I approximately, I just cut a main artery. It seems that
Why?
I have approximately an hour. I have approximately an hour less, maybe even now.
Why in the fucking Jesus' testicles did you do that for me?
You can feel a rumbling in the
There's no
room.
time to explain. We cannot leave this place. We are followed.
You feel that, mate?
And as I cut my palm open, I spread this blood all across this altar.
The rumbling increases as your blood touches this.
As I do, the blood kind of runs off these planks in every single fiber of the wood. It doesn't soak the planks, it runs through every fiber of the wood, leaving a sort of pattern. And it
Almost
pours-
like veins.
almost like exactly like the veins of a human.
The blood drips down out of this artery which you've cut open from your left arm. You're bleeding profusely. The blood falls down this sort of triangular, conical, ramshackle, occult construction you've made in the center of the room and slides down, as you said, into these intricate sort of veins, falls down and spreads out into the ground, and you see sort of shadows of claws and tentacles in the blood. You're not sure if, bones and hands and eyes and all manner of things, and then this rumbling increases until you can see from the blood-stained ground worms, brown worms, this time even bigger, fattened with your own blood. The worms, they sort of scurry and slither towards the center of this makeshift shrine. And then you look over at this Vermis Mysteriis and see the final part of the ritual. You must give something valuable.
Wait. There's a missing reagent. This is not what was described in the book. This is not it.
Wait.
Wait.
I know what it is. I think I know what it is.
Can you give me a sanity roll as it dawns on you that the statue, how could you ever part with it? It is the most beautiful thing you've ever laid eyes upon.
Success.
Okay.
20 to 40.
You manage to claw on to the last shreds of sanity, and you think that perhaps you could part with it.
I think I know what it is. It's just we have to chuck the statue in. Yeah. We have to chuck the statue in.
Yeah.
That's what we have to do.
Yeah.
You have to take it, man. You have to do it. You're the one. You're the one that has to do it, man.
All right. Yes. Well, you're right. There, in this book, it's describing that the gluttony of man must pay the price for everything it grabs in its greedy paws. The gluttony of man must sacrifice the very tips of their fingers.
As I grab the knife and I rip out my fingernails.
By the gods, mate.
And as my hand is going through necrosis at this point, it's kind of just...
Yeah, it's barely even there
It's-
anymore.
And I rip out every nail in my hand.
You must. Only you gotta put the statue in. I have this duty. I must sacrifice the gluttony of man to each point of the sacrificial circle. You must drop it in the center of the altar.
McFadden, you carry the statue and you walk closer, but every step you take, you hold the statue closer and closer to you.
No, I can't do it. I can. can do it.
You
I have
you
to.
you can. You can do it. You have to do it.
As I drop the fingernail in the point of columnist blood at one of the points and move over to the other point.
Now,
You
As-
have to do it.
as you move closer, McFadden, clutching the statue, a horrible feeling comes over you as the wood that you created this ramshackle shrine from begins to decompose before your very eyes. Tiny maggots or worms are eating away at it from the inside until it just becomes a cone-shaped sort of writhing mess on the floor. And then the worms begin to rise up and formulate themselves into some sort of humanoid form, but this time with 5 arms, with no head, and with only one sort of thick stalk instead of legs. As you step closer and closer towards this monstrosity, it reaches out with its 5 arms towards you. What do you want to do?
I'm going to reach in to my satchel and pull out an oil flask.
The final oil flask. Yep.
The final nail. It's about to be put in place.
As I drop the final fingernail on the last point,
The vibration
ripped.
grows deafening and the room begins to shake and shudder. The ground beneath you sort of liquefies. McFadden, this creature reaches towards you. You're holding this oil in one hand, the statue in the other, and you're looking left, right. What are you gonna do?
Mother, father, Roscommon, New York, Lucky, old daddy, the people I fought for. This one's for you. I'm going to stick both of them into the disgusting creature. Right into the center where a human heart might have been placed.
Okay. The vibration reaches its climax, and you can't stand up anymore. Your legs sort of turn to jelly and you're thrown to the walls. Before you, this sculpture transfigures itself, almost like an oil spill, into this horrible creature with thousands of spindly arachnid legs. And it seems to consume the wormy, despicable, eldritch horror. They seem to be locked in some sort of cosmic duel for just a moment, and then the statue, or what the statue has become, finally has its lunch. And then the vibrations in the room simmer down, and they begin to settle. You pick yourselves up, dust yourselves off. The shrine is gone. All that is left is that vial of oil spinning slowly on the floor of the cave. So,
Cut.